Welcome to the Design Cafe, where today I'm going to show you how to create a reflection using Adobe Illustrator. So, the cool thing about this, and I'm just going to use all caps reflection. I'm going to show you different ways, different techniques, and how to create a reflection um, using just plain text. All right, so in my course that I'm working on, and let me know if you're interested in it, by the way, but I'm working on a course, and part of this course, I'm showing people how to basically different techniques in typography, and this is one of the techniques in typography that we go over, and which is reflection. So I'm just gonna make this white, and I'm just gonna reflect this. And the funny thing is, it's super easy. I'm gonna press Command C to copy and Command F to paste in place. Alternatively, I can go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in place. Now, now that it's placed in place, I have two of them. But instead of just moving it and adjusting it, you know, not like that, but more so like this, I'm not going to do that. I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to right click and go to Arrange, Transform, Reflect. Or I can go to Object, Transform, Reflect. And then I'll get a preview, and you want to make sure it's a horizontal reflection. Press OK. Now I would like to just press the down arrow a couple of times. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to make this look more like an actual reflection, saying that the floor of the floor that the reflection word is sitting on, you'll see a reflection. I probably should have used a different word because it's going to be hard to articulate what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's do this. So we're gonna go ahead and make this reflect. So I'm going to use a gradient, but instead of applying a gradient directly to my text, which you can do that several ways. One of the ways that some people do it is they'll go to appearance, and they'll add a fill, and then they'll apply the gradient to the fill. The problem with that is, if you notice, appearance is meant to be a place where if you do something, let's say, I'm just gonna create this shape real quick. All right, so let's change that. All right, so notice with the shape, as soon as I selected it, you saw what color you can see what color it is. But when I select the text, you can't. There's a hidden layer under that's not visible, or even uneditable in appearance when you select your text. But when you select other objects, it's immediately available. You can see everything that is within the shape that you have selected. For instance, if I go to Effect and I blur my shape, even though it wasn't that much of a blur, you can still see my blur right here and edit it. I can increase it and press OK, yada yada. Now, notice here when I select this, even if I edit my gradient, so I have my gradient here, what I would like to do is, let's say, make my white 0 opacity. Now, if this was at 0% opacity for my white, then I should be able to see blue in my text, or in my text right here, because it's 0%. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to select the same. That's what my text should look like right now. So my text should look like this, but it doesn't. Why? Because of that hidden layer. So instead of going about it this way, I'm just going to use a clipping mask instead. So let's just grab a shape, and my gradient is already applied, but instead of using black, I'm just going to use white, and I'm going to change the direction, and I'm going to show you some tricks. I'm going to just put it on here first, and then I'm going to send it to the back. So I could right click my shape, go to arrange, send it back, or I can use my short key, my keyboard shortcuts. All right, so now let's select both of those, press Command 7. Now I want to edit my reflection because it's not looking quite like a real reflection yet. So I'm just gonna move this up here, and there we go. Now what was the key to that? It's somewhat of a, not really a secret. You can eyeball it and kind of say, okay, I know what it should look like. But if you're going off of a simple rule of thumb, to get your reflection to look more like this, is when you're editing, if your gradient is 50-50, and well, this part right here, the diamond is 50-50 between your colors, your 0% opacity, you want to bring that diamond close to the edge right here. Okay, now if it was more down here, then you get that. But if you have your diamond right there, it looks more like a reflection. It looks believable that the text is sitting on a glass floor or a very shiny floor. Okay, you can even play around with it even more than that. You can, let's say, grab this. Hold on. Let's slant it ever so slightly, and then bring it up. I don't like that, but either way, you can play around with it, and there we go. All right, so now the reason this is all caps, and I'm just going to delete this, is because let's say one of my rules with reflection is to make things all caps every time. Otherwise, it's probably not a good idea to do the reflection, because you have things called descenders. A descender is something like this Y. This Y is a descender because it goes below the baseline. This red line where the H and the E sits right here, that's where my reflection will start. But if I have a descender, it messes everything up. So let me show you what I mean. So if I have this word just saying hey, and I'm just going to go ahead and reflect it the same way, control and paste in place. Arrange, I'm at transform, reflect, and I'm just going to move this down. Now the problem with doing the clipping mask now is that, you know, it's going to look real wonky. So instead of doing the clipping mask for my reflection, this time I'm just going to change my text into a shape, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to go to type, create outlines. Now I'm just going to adjust this Y, and I'm going to bring it down and try to give it the same distance as everything else. All right, so now that this is selected, I can just grab my same reflection gradient that I had before and follow the similar rule. Now the thing is, the only thing I have to do to get this to look more like a reflection is to actually just, hold on, why is that not showing up? weird. Uh, Hold on. I think I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna select this, and I'm just gonna drag this over here, and then as I come out of here, we select all of these, select that. Now that fixes that problem. All right, so now the only thing I have to do is change this color to the exact color that I had right here, which is this right here. And now it looks more like a reflection. But even though I moved my Y, it doesn't give it the feel of a actual floor. Like you see something's it's not right. It doesn't make sense. Now maybe if I did some things like here is a possible fix. I'm not sure how to look, but let's say I created my outline here, or turn my text into a shape here, and I move this up to be closer to the baseline, and then brought this up some. But remember, it's still a descender, um, so it's starting to feel a little bit more believable. But at the same time, it's like, hey man, something's not right. So it's always a good idea to make sure that if you're going to use this technique, you make sure you have all caps. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, just use all caps when you're doing the reflection technique. All right, and I hope you enjoyed this session of Design Cafe. We'll see you next time.